Ladies and gentlemen, this is Africans Online Network, and we are broadcasting from our studio here in Germany, under Nwachukwu Emmnuel. We are going to talk about the Biafran issue. So, based on that, we are going to start with the Biafran national item. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters, from wherever you are watching from around the world. This is Nwachukwu Emmnuel, your host and anchor of Africans Online Network. We are live and we are direct. First of all, before we start the show today, we are going to start by playing one of the very new release of a Biafran, so that you understand the sentiment running among the people, their state of mind, what they feel, how they really feel inside about Nigeria. Let's see, for those of us who are Igbos and a lot of other people who are from Nigeria might understand the wordings, but other people you go by the beat. But what it really means is that somebody, we've never seen such a thing before. Is quite unprecedented for somebody who comes from a particular nation to sing a nation that he will never come back to that very land if he eventually managed to leave the land. So let's hear this music.
Mekatasi na Nigeria wepo Nwachukwu tozo. Mekatasi na Nigeria wepo Nwachukwu tozo. Ifene melo na banyanya mmiri ya melo manna tozo. Oh no udelu ya melo manna tozo. No place like you ani kwego ana manna tozo. If it vex you come in suicide you ana manna tozo. Economy, still a will of odd. No road, no line, water no the flow. And if you talk police, then go come carry go. Giving people fake promise for their campaign. After the election, the next section a siren. Sufferness now a blood fest. People die, very good propaganda and lying. Some face of 80s we they see for ya walk like Jackie salary probably next year. Everybody want to be like Mandela, the king of hero, while the heart is full of evil, like King Pharaoh. Mpansio boda tiop and aseme boda. One and two ogadike will another summer clearing and wrecking labor. Ogadika Ghana political manipulation. Nobody say something. We can take this for granted. We could do something. I talk a lesson, no, but I will look at that we are something. Mekatasi na Nigeria wepo Nwachukwu tozo. Mekatasi na Nigeria wepo Nwachukwu tozo. Ifene melo na banyanya mmiri ya melo manna tozo. Oh no udelu ya melo manna tozo. No place like you ani kwego ana manna tozo. If it vex you, commit suicide, and a man that also man that also man that also
Uso mama agaya nganabo ijidoke mona gikeya ntenabo woke kwesiri turu ya mobata mbo motiesi dizi ugba anyị nọze na nkọ anyị chọrọ leader ọ bụrụ erula nke game obodo anyị nọkọ dịtụnụ beta enye ndị ọchịchị ego anyị akpachie ma chezọ n'ọtụtụ ụmụkpọnya afụbeghị tachie economy dị high ka BP ọtụtụ na-akwụgharị with CV ọtụtụ ndị anyị ka nọza GG lete all this ọ na-enye nụ MP our country chọrọ dịka America ma anyị nwere love ka ndị America ihe a mee nji gbanụ Jehova na ntawa na dizu maka chimma nnatata
mmekọta si na Nigeria wepụ maka Chukwuma nnata ọzọ mmekọta si na Nigeria wepụ maka Chukwuma nnata ọzọ ife na-eme n'obodo na-agbanye anya mmiri ya melụ ma nnata ọzọ ọ nọ o wutere m ya melụ ma nnata ọzọ no place like anyị kwere and a man that also if it vex you commit suicide and a man that also man that also man that also get defending in this our nation no matter that go chakwa bed no occupation I must tell you it's from the foundation man and they put the blame on our generation aburu if mado go chakwa potoburu a thief any nation they down for jubilation let me see you raise your hands and shout congratulations I will peace master this bad information fuel arigo gas arigo oil arigo kede bag bido anyi we kugo unu anugo na waga yemehari amalu na ofugo obodo kola akpo anyi nwatola atọ by 30 years imana guys cholo igo moto lọnụ nọ na pịapịa na agba buto mmekọta si na Nigeria wepụ maka Chukwuma nnata ọzọ mmekọta si na Nigeria wepụ maka Chukwuma nnata ọzọ ife na-eme n'obodo na-agbanye anya mmiri ya melụ ma nnata ọzọ ọ nọ o wutere m ya melụ ma nnata ọzọ no place like anyị kwere and a man that also if it vex you commit suicide and a man that also man that also man that also
so iche kwa na azadoro na river Niger bi vekle kamo atawa vex
mmekọta si na Nigeria wepụ maka Chukwuma nnata ọzọ mmekọta si na Nigeria wepụ maka Chukwuma nnata ọzọ ife na-eme n'obodo na-agbanye anya mmiri ya melụ ma nnata ọzọ ọ nọ o wutere m ya melụ ma nnata ọzọ no place like anyị kwere and a man that also if it vex you commit suicide and a man that also man that also man that also
to devaluate economy, still a whole lot odd. No road, no line, water no the flow. And if you talk police, then go come carry go. Giving people fake promise for their campaign. After the election, the next section are siren. Sufferness now a blood fest. People dying, very good propaganda and lying. Some face of 80s with a C for ya, work like Jackie salary probably next year. Everybody want to be like Mandela, the king of hero, while their heart is full of evil, like King Pharaoh. Mpansio boda tiok man aseme boda. One and two oga dike will another summer clearing and wrecking labor. Oga dika dana political manipulation. Nobody say something. We can take this for granted. We could do something. I talk a lesson, no, but I will look at that we are something.
Mmekọta si na Nigeria wepụ maka Chukwuma nnata ọzọ
Sasi na Nigeria webo Nwachukwu manna tozo Ife na-emelu bulu na gbanyanya mmiri ya melu manna tozo Oh no 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 oh delumo ya melu manna tozo no place like anyị kwego mana manna tozo if it vex you commit suicide mana manna tozo
Igwe, ogologo igwe, igwe,
manna tozo
igwe, ogologo igwe, TVS,
manna tozo
ụzọ ma mma agaghị nga na-abọ iji doke mụ na gị ke ya nke na-abọ nwoke kwesịrị tụrụ ya ma ọ gbacha mbọ ma otu esi dịzi ugbu a anyị nọzi na nkọ anyị chọrọ lida ọ bụrụ erula nke ga-eme obodo anyị nọkọ dịtụnụ beta enye ndị ọchịchị ego anyị akpachie ma chezọọ n'ọtụtụ ụmụ ogbenye afọbeghị tachie economy dị high ka ọ dị ip ọtụtụ na-akwụgharị with tv ọtụtụ ndị anyị ka nọza gg lete all this ọ na-enye m mp our country chọrọ dị ka America ma anyị nwere love ka ndị America ihe a mee nchi gwa n'oji Jehova.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Thank you once again for being part of this very program this very morning or afternoon or evening, depending on where you are watching from. This is an online network that we know goes all around the world with different time frames. Now, that is a music, a very new release music from a Nigerian, a Biafran to be precise. And the music is about Nigeria, what Nigeria means to the Igbos and to the Easterners of Nigeria. With the content of that very music, we can understand that people are not happy, not only with the content, with what is happening all around, what we can see, what we feel every day. It is a reality of unhappy people. Now, this is about Biafra movement. This very broadcast is especially about Biafra movement. We have revealed the new Biafran movement reloaded. Yesterday, I touched a little bit on that, the new Biafra movement reloaded. The reloaded movement is one that is very much secretive, that is very much conditioned to be completely hidden from public assessment. In the sense, this is because we know that a lot of unspeakable actions have been going on throughout this very struggle. So by that now we are taking precautions to make sure that any other thing that is happening out there will be taken or done with caution. And that is where we are now. The new Biafra movement reloaded is going on underground, but will surface as the greatest force that is going to give us Biafra. Was it on Saturday or Sunday of this very past week? There was a meeting somewhere around by delegations from Nigeria and also Biafra land, entered into discussion with representative of international recognized nations, some of the most powerful nations in the world. Most of the Biafran agitation leaders don't even know what I'm talking about right now, because they are not the ones who are in front of this meeting. That is why it is reloaded. Reloaded means that these people who are on it now, who find a way, a means to interact with those people that really matters, those countries that are really influential, those nations that can help Africa and Biafra, to be precise, to gain our freedom. The way, the manner, The conditions by which this contact was established is going to be made known to people, but it's going to be with time. A lot of things are going on in the Biafran struggle that we are going to discuss here. Mind you, this is Africans Online Network, but what we are onto now is Biafran time. I myself here, Nwachukwu Emmnuel, is your anchor of Biafran time. As we are starting this very network, there are going to be other programs coming from all other parts of Africa. We have broadcasters, we have contributors, we have opinion people who are going to help us to shape the ideas, the visions, the knowledge that are going to be coming out from this very station. It's going to be vast, it's going to be wide, sometimes it's going to be very controversial, sometimes also it's going to be pleasing and demanding also. But at this time and in this very program right now is about Biafra. For our international audience who don't know much about or who have not heard about Biafra, Biafra lies in the eastern part of Nigeria. Biafra has existed for 3 years before, but under siege, under war, under hardship. So many people say 1 million, so many people say 2, so many people say 3, up to some people say even 4 to 5 million Biafrans were killed during the Biafran Nigerian War, that is 1967 to 1970. Biafra exists as a nation for these 3 years. They had everything it takes to become a people. They were ready, they were eager. But the ball was not on their court. The Nigerian government, coupled with some other international nations like the British we know, Russia, all these people helped Nigeria to defeat Biafra. They called it no victory, no vanquish, which is another way of falsehood. If that was the case, at least there should supposed to be equality in Nigeria today. But because there was a victor and there is a vanquish, there are people who vanquished within that. We, up to now, we still live in that very torment. Sometime down the road, Chief Raphael Owazirike started another movement. He had a new vision for Biafra. He started a vision again because of the same maltreatment that is still going on, because of the same slavery in pretense that Biafran people are subjugated to in their own land. Chief Dr. Raphael Owazirike started the movement once again. He started a movement of emancipation of the Biafran people, Maso. That movement, as we see now, has delivered a lot of other small movements. It has developed into a vast movement all around the East with so many parties in play this time agitating for the same freedom. Because of these so many splinter groups, it has turned into a problem within the Biafran struggle itself. another sense also, it have actually turned into an enterprise, money-making enterprise for some people. And that is the sick and the sad part of the whole agitation. There are groups that are very, very known, very represented, acknowledged, and visible. Groups like the groups that followed suit after Nwachukwu, ones like Ekwenche, ones like Biafran in exile. From that has emerged so many other Biafran groups, both at home and abroad. The IPOB RBL was formed in the Western world here in London. We have another IPOB also, a splinter group from the original IPOB. That makes it very impossible right now for us to actually identify which one is the original IPOB. These are the kinds of confusion we are talking about here. People getting completely mixed up, that you don't know which is the first and which is the second, which is the best and which is the worst, which is the original and which one is the imitation. A lot of splinter groups are scattered out there, a lot of trouble, a lot of infighting. We can see insults from this very new offspring and vision of Biafra. It has turned completely to chaos and the catastrophe. This has been going on now for about 20 years since the new vision founded by Nwachukwu, Chief Raphael Nwachukwu for Biafra, the movement of the emancipation of the Biafran people, or actualization of Biafra, whatever they call it, that is Masai people knows what I mean. I don't go in deep to read the meanings of all these acronyms, but at the same time, it is important that we hold to value what our people have been doing. They say, we understand now that every publicity is good, whether sometimes we see them with a negative light or through advantageous light, but at the same time, in any way they come about, they are good publicities. We cannot testify to that also by what just happened within our own struggle. We know that a lot of people found the way Nnamdi Kanu went about it as being rude, being so aggressive, being damaging. But today, despite the fact that there was a lot of things done very wrongly, despite the fact that there was a lot of things he said that were completely unacceptable, despite the fact that he have managed in a way to create enmity within ourselves, despite the fact that our elders were insulted, despite the fact that so many people were demoralized, so many educationists, so many intellectuals of the Igbo class that should have been out to pursue for this very freedom, they were a lot of them were demoralized by the way RBL was going about it. But despite all those facts, the advantage of what Nnamdi has done is showing itself in a very bright light. Today, I can assure you that the Biafran movement reloaded recognizes that. The international communities, the countries that will free us, the people, the nations of substance that are supposed to come to our recognition. These people recognizes the fact that Nnamdi Kanu now is the symbol of the struggle. And they will also want the Biafran people to understand that fact follow that fact, work with that very symbol, not necessarily collapsing to whatever group he has, but recognizing the fact that we have a symbol, we have a rallying point, we have a united front with this man. Not with what he built, but with him. So recognizes the Biafra movement reloaded, the international communities, organizations that are going to free Biafran people. It is important that we also recognize that. It is important that we consider that. It is important that we follow it. Meanwhile, now I am going to, because there is another movement that I so much believe in, that is the political aspect of looking for this freedom. It has never been done in this very new beginning agitation that just started 2011, 2012. Actually, Apoga has been there before within the Nwachukwu era to fight for Biafra, to be a political platform for the Biafran people. But we all know that it has been misused. It has been stolen away. It is no longer a representation for the Biafran people. And since 2011, after it was Rike newfound vision for Biafra, Nnamdi Kanu Emekesi 2011, 2012 new development. That was another. It was in the time of the age of the internet. So what they were able to achieve was something that we've never seen before. What happened at least 30th of May 2012? Was the beginning of this very speed. At least what people hoped that could have given them that very success. 2011, 2012 was the beginning of a new hope for the people. When Nnamdi Kanu Emeka Esiri came out, having a Radio Biafra online, distributing the duties, having the Supreme Council of Elders, having the diplomatic department, having the law legal department, and also having the media department. They came out with well articulated but not perfected. It was well articulated, but they didn't have a target. They didn't know people to target, but they had everything organized, but except for one thing, which at that time I called for. And when they went the other way, I understood that there was something going on badly. That was having targets, knowing that President Jonathan at that time was a target that we needed to have, that we needed to capture, that we needed to use. But instead, they misused that opportunity. They abused that opportunity. And that is one of the greatest problems we are facing today. What that has brought to our people, the lack of understanding or having the foresight to know that Jonathan as an Easterner was as close as home we could have been. We started a movement at the time God gave us an Easterner to be on the pole of presidency in Nigeria, but we couldn't use that. Instead, we went against our own man the same way we go against every other person. That is ideology in things. There are times you play a game of foolishness, and that is a time those games you played to be a game of foolishness becomes the game of wisdom. In the sense that even if we knew Jonathan was not so good, even if we knew that Jonathan was a cheat, was the worst president in Nigeria, which he was not. But even if that was the case, we needed to understand that him there as our own son, as our own brother, as our own father, as our own relation, being in the seat of that office was a very big blessing as at then. And that is why things are happening, started happening the way they started happening and are still happening till this very day, because we misused the opportunity. Today we are scrambling up to the extent that we are condemning our own very selves. We are fighting among our own very selves. We don't agree on what the other man says. It's just turned to a competition. Let's understand the fact that there are things that are called healthy competition. A competition when you are doing this, you are competing for good. It becomes a healthy competition in the sense that if this competition of who is going to get Biafra was where people are walking, fighting with their own ideology, looking straight to their own road without trying to put down or to tackle, to stop what the other man is doing. When a competition of such turns to people trying to stop their brother who is also looking for the same value, then it becomes a dangerous competition. It's no longer a healthy competition. It could have been healthy when people, we know it, everybody know it, the whole world know it, that in a situation where you are looking for freedom like this, independence, in these days there are a lot of factions that comes out. Even in Spain, where you have the Catalonians, there are a lot of factions. Even in Somalia, there was a lot of factions. Anywhere it is, Timor, everywhere it is around the world, we will see factions will come out with different ideologies, but all having one goal. But what makes our own different is we all have one goal, but everybody is taking very good care. I mean, all those leaders are taking very good care that no one of other groups gets to that goal before him or her. In this sense, what is he going to do to make sure that doesn't happen? He's going to deploy all necessary possibilities, all necessary weapons of stoppage to make sure that you put the other man down. And in a situation like this means we are doomed. Because all these people are intelligent, they are brilliant, they are smart. You have lawyers, you have barristers, you have doctors who are in this pursuit. These are people who can get this thing done if really they don't have personal intentions. If really it has not turned a challenge of if not me. If it's not me, I will not allow you to get it. But at the same time, people say, I will do everything for Biafra. But one thing these leaders will not do is to allow another man get it if they don't have the means. Which is a little bit hypocritical. But now, we are having movement of Biafra reloaded. Movement of Biafra reloaded. It's secret. It's secret even to the top. But I want to tell you that the president of Nigeria knows about it. I want to tell you that the presidents of all these other international countries, if not their presidents, but their very close delegations, knows about it. You talk about British, you talk about America, you talk about France, you talk about Germany, you talk about Russia and China. They know about this very Biafra movement reloaded. They recognize what is happening today in Nigeria. They recognize the killings. But it's unfortunate that this Biafran movement has not been put into the forefront, to the light for the world. It's not there on CNN, it's not on BBC. People don't know it much all around the world. only the black people, and most especially the Biafrans and the Nigerians, who are very much against it anyway. But the movement of Biafra, the Biafra movement reloaded, is deemed to be highly classified. Both the attendees, both the attendants, the people who, the delegations coming from our own side, also even from the international community, but they have promised to leak at least declassified informations, like informing our people that there's something stronger than what they have seen before, what they know about, that is happening. They are evaluating what they know about the Biafra movement individually among the delegates and nationally among their nations. That is what is really going on right now. This very delegation is going to be there for a very long time. This very meeting is going to continue for a very long time. It's going to go on and on and on. It's going to be enlarged. More people are going to be brought in when they know that the road is clear. There are times when they will have to, maybe, I don't know where it's going, because they are checking out all those pro-Biafran group leaders. They are investigating them underground. They want to know what their ideologies are. They want to know which international organizations they have contacted or are in contact with. They also want to know if there is any endorsement by any country to any of these groups, any working condition involved. All these things are on the research as I speak with you now. And that is why I'm happy. And that is why I am very happy. Because I know that now the ball has left our court to the international community's court. Since a long time we've been shouting. Since a long time we've been crying. Since a long time we've been running helter-skelter for help. But finally, I believe this is the time the help has finally arrived. And like you know, it comes in a way you don't expect. It did not come from those people you know, those Wazirikes, those Nnamdi Kanu, those Emeka Siri, those what are they, Tony Nadi, those Chekwa Sokore and all of them that believes that the Biafra will come through them. These are not the people in these negotiations. They might know the people in the negotiations, but they don't know they are in the negotiation. They might be friendly, they might know themselves, but they don't know what is happening as of now. And the information about what is happening in this Biafra movement reloaded, you can only get from Africans Online. We have direct contact, both in UK, both in London, both in Russia, where it is all happening. We have promised to keep the secret just the way they wish us to do. We have promised to only bring out information that have deemed this declassified. And that's what we are going to be using as informations, as updates, as news and analysis for you. Then it's time you are going to do your own homework also, to check out what is happening, how it's happening, and what you know. A lot of people are fanatic about the Biafra, and so many other people are fanatic about people who run these organizations. Informations about the movement itself, the people you follow, are going to be released about who has been lying to you, who have been telling you the truth about their international contacts, international connections, what they have, whether it's real, whether it's false. For those who are calling for referendum this year, how did they come about that? For those who are in court, that is very visible, we know it is happening. For this very new movement now that is happening between the UPP and the Mobil, the political aspect of the movement also. We recognize that, and I think also, although the real data are not in front of me right now, but I believe that the movement of Biafra Reloaded, the delegation, knows about all this. But we want to actually know who knows what. Then they can talk about what they know and then what they wish to do, how to solve the problem. It is understood, there is no doubt about it, despite the fact that it's being kept silent all around the world. But there is no doubt about it that the catastrophe of Biafra, Nigeria, will be explosive to the world. So the international community are doing all they can to quench this fire before it comes out to light. That is why they don't want it promoted on BBC or on CNN. Not that they don't feel for Biafran people. There is a lot of problem in the world. If this is added into it, it's going to be disastrous. Like we know, the world is already in a disastrous mood. But more addition will be much more damaging. They can get it done without bringing it out to the stage, international stage, the visibility of the world, the outcry of the whole humanity. Then that would be okay. If they can close it, find us a solution. And we should also bear in mind that the solution they might arise to, they are thinking about what is the solution going to look like. It's going to be a solution that's going to please Nigeria. It's going to be a solution that's going to please Biafra. And it's also going to be a solution that's going to please the international community. Because we all know that they have their own interest. Their interest has ever been there in Nigeria, and they would like it to continue to be, even if the two nations are splitted. So, in this very bargain, they will be bargaining for themselves, they will be bargaining for Nigeria, and at the same time, they will be bargaining for us. We want a win-win situation. Likewise, the Biafran people, we know it. If Biafra comes tomorrow, Nigeria is still going to be in that very geographical location. It's not going to move away. So they are automatically going to our neighbors. Nigeria becomes our neighbors. And if your neighbor is not stable, that means you are also in disarray. We would like a stable Nigerian neighbor. Like we have Cameroon as a neighbor, like other neighboring African countries, that we wish that all African countries become stable, so that Africa can push their own agenda, so that Africa can come to the light. For this to happen, a lot of Igbos, Biafrans believe that in Biafra, Africa died. And the restoration of Biafra will awaken the spirit of Africa once again. I had a conversation with one of the men that are making the waves, Barrister Emeka Esiri. The very conversation is meant to be private between me and him. But I go back to that very conversation once again. I found out that all what he told me on that very conversation, he has already leaked it outside by write-up, told it to some people. He had already put it in writing, trying to defend himself because of the problem he had with Engineer Amadi. Because of the division also, we see that in every group are divisions. It is happening. Today we know that RBL also, that IPOB was divided into two. Now IPOB that is divided into two, each one of these other groups of the IPOB are now equally divided into two. That means you have up to 4 of them. First of all, it was one IPOB represented by the 2 figures, Emeka Esiri and Nnamdi Kanu. They splitted it. Emeka had his own, Nnamdi Kanu has his own. It became 2 IPOBs. Then Emeka offered some duty to Engineer Amadi, which also was abused. Today we know that there are 2 factions. that believes in the Supreme Council of Elders, being a part of one of the breakaway factions of the first IPOB. Now there are two that way. Also, in the RBL IPOB, which Nnamdi Kanu, the figurehead of the Biafran struggle, controls, yesterday we had an information that there's another new radio, RBI, that is Radio Biafra International, that has been established in the United States right now. And we also got information that the director himself, who is in custody today, said he is not, he did not sanction that. He knew about it, but he's not in agreement to it. There's our brother who is in London, Nwachukwu. Nwachukwu Eze, something, who is in London. This our brother has been prophesizing, or has been saying it, shouting it out loud, that there is something going on in the RBL since Nnamdi went out, about Clifford Irania and the Emmnuel with Uchemefo and the Imam Mezu. Now it is out there in the light that there is a separation now. The other time I said something about they using Uchemefo as just a ceremonial director, acting director of Radio Biafra. They put him there. Some of the decisions they make behind him. They knew that most of the places they would like to meet for meeting, because this guy, I don't know whether he has his asylum now. He had no documents to move around, so they saw that as a weakness on his part, and they worked on that. Now, you see how fractions and factions are coming out, separations, and it's not as if they are just going out with happiness, in coolness, to say, okay, my brother, I'm going to pursue my own in this way, let's go on. If you get it, it's okay. If I get it, it's okay. No, it's not like that. It's a problem. It becomes a problem before you see the split. It turns into enmity. It becomes deadly. Sometimes you have death threats, you have harassment, you have abuses, insults. Once the split is made, you get something that you'd never imagined before coming out from both parties. And that is what we are feeling every day. Under these circumstances, the Lower Niger Congress says, with all what is happening, that they can get Biafra by not calling it Biafra and setting a referendum. Then after that, we can talk about the name. Only the argument of not calling it Biafra pulls Lower Niger completely behind the authorities of Biafra. Only with also not looking into what is going on around you before you can put a date for any action such as referendum, means people are just moving sheepishly without guidance, without wisdom. I've told you, we have a lot of intelligent, brilliant, smart doctors, engineers, everything, academicians, all around the struggle. But what we don't have is we don't have no wise people. And that is why the trend of things have just shifted. We now want, or we are pleased that it's only God that is helping us now. There's only God that is touching the heart of all these international communities to look into finding figures, personalities that can do this job with them. Knowing the fact that all the group leaders, this is what the international community knows, all the group leaders has failed their people. So if you are following one man saying he's going to get you freedom in the way of referendum, if you are following another man telling you that they are going to get you freedom in the way of court, or they are going to fight it out, or they are going to do it by printing of plate numbers and money and all the what have you, wishful thinking, you are just being, okay, let me not put the minds of the people down, but I can say it's all about wishful thinking. The new road is secretive. The new road is direct to the points, the establishments that hold the universe. This new Biafran Reloaded is one that you don't get to hear a lot of shout about, but a lot of action about. We are going to see things happen. Immediately there is any confirmation of any order, we are going to see implementation start to happen. Mind you, this very ongoing, confidential, very important meetings between the international community, Nigerian government, and Biafra falls completely in line with the revelation I gave about the 14 years of Biafran restoration. No matter who is on board, we know it's not just as easy as we are saying it, or as easy as we want it to be. If you consider the facts of what I told you, the international community that are on forefront of this are going to talk about their own welfare. They are going to find a way to suit the Nigerian government. They are going to find a way to suit us. So it might not be all what we want that we get. It might not be all what Nigeria wants that they get, or what the international community wants. It's going to be a chip-off from what you want. You have to come to the center. And mind you, such issues, such discussions, this kind of meetings takes a lot of time, a lot of leverage, a lot of misunderstanding, argument, misunderstanding, and then disagreeing to agree. That is what they are working on. People will not just come and say, the international community is not just coming to command Nigeria to say, okay, this is what you have to do. Or to tell Biafra, okay, this is all you can get. Or to say, this is our own interest in it, that's all. No. They are going to work hand in hand, allow the Nigerians to come with their perspective, the Biafrans to come with their perspective, they themselves declare their perspectives, all on the table. Then from these perspectives, you try to pick the center. You have to say what you want. You have to say what favors you. The other guy has to do the same thing. The international community have to do the same. But where it stops is getting a solution. And that solution can only be gotten when all these parties, all these groups, have to make some compromise to what is their gain, what is their ambition, what they really want. Maybe, we don't know, the international community come back tomorrow and say, okay, we want to give you people a true federation. That has to be agreed with Nigeria. It has to be agreed by the Biafrans and also the international community. Maybe they say, we want you to have a greater autonomy and still remain in Nigeria. That's what they can give us. They have to find a way to make us swallow that pill. Maybe they tell the Nigerians that no, you have to give these people direct independence. They have to find a way to make Nigeria swallow that pill also. So that is the agreement we are into. So let nobody think it's just an easy walkover. Something that we can just, as long as the international community is on it now, in 2 years, in 3 years, in 4 years, that we are going to, they are 10. They can even have a postponement for 6 months. They can even have a postponement and working indoors, behind closed doors, for 1 year. But we have to give them the benefit of doubt. We have to support them. We have to believe in them. We have to follow the instructions that are going to come out from them. Let's not believe that we can just do it. Always we believe that we can do it. Oh, Igbo man, the blessed people of God, everything is on our own. We can do it easy. But we have been experiencing things not being so easy like we wish, like we think. It's not been forthcoming that way. But right now, like I said, I had a communication with Emeka Esiri. I am going to play that very communication for you to know the heart of this man, because all what he told me here, he have already released it to the world in some other occasions. I've read about them online. I've also heard him talking about them. And this time is a recorded conversation. And you are going to be part of it to know the heart of this man. The people are working for us. What they have in common, somehow it relates one to another. I don't judge people. I judge the whole movement. I believe on the end justifies the means. If we never get there, we have never done it rightly. We are still on the way. So, hear this.
Lord Jesus Christ,
Oh, sorry.
Nazareth, who died on the cross for me and you. I bring greetings to you in the name.
Sorry for
Hello,
that.
brothers and hello, brothers
what's
and
wrong?
sisters.
God damn.
Hello, brothers.
Sorry, my people. I think
especially
I've lost that very conversation. This is unbelievable right now.
Yeah.
Hello, brothers.
Okay, as I've lost that very conversation, I can't find it. When I find it, and I'll bring it to you. But first of all, let's go into other things happening within the Biafran struggle.
Sisters in the Lord, I have a question to ask, and the question has not been cleared. And my heart is not at peace because no pastor, general overseer, Christian leaders has ever answered this question for me. I'm yet to get an answer. But because I'm yet to get an answer, with the little spirit of God dwelling in me, I came to understand that we Christians are living in ignorance of everything happening around us. What is it? The killing of Christians all over the world by the Muslim, and is being justified that the Christians are unclean. It gets me annoyed when I hear them saying Christians are unclean. The people that are supposed to be killed is not a Christian. It's because we are ignorant in any meeting. Our leaders will say call for prayers. Should we be calling for prayers while our generation are being wiped away? Should we be going and fasting in the mountain while they are killing Christians and no Muslim is being killed? Look all over the world these days. The Christians are meant for sacrifice for Muslims. What an abomination in the eyes of our Lord God in heaven. If it is a sin for a Christian to kill unclean person, to me, it's not a sin. To you and your pastor, it may be a sin. If it was a sin, Abraham in the Bible wouldn't have gone to war to rescue Lot. He would have been praying in his house. When he heard that Lot was taken captive and his family, he took his armies, his war and his servant and went to war and rescued Lot, and it was counted righteousness unto him. David would have killed all the enemies of God around him. He would have been praying inside as an anointed. Samson wouldn't have killed the Philistine. He would have been fasting and asking God to destroy them. The ignorance they taught us is what is putting us in bondage. Look at the whole Bible. The Israelite we claim to be by faith in Christ Jesus, we are not emulating. The physical Israelite, you can't kill an Israeli one. Israel will wipe away 30 of your own. God gave them the power to defend themselves. When the children of Israel were coming back from Egypt, why did God always ask them to go for war? Go and conquer this nation and take. Now the Muslims are conquering the Christian and claiming, and you pastors, general overseers, leaders of the Christian faith are calling for prayers. Liars.